As we've learned from Christopher Nolan's Batman series, it's not who I am underneath but what I do that defines me. And Telltale don't just want us to don the cape and cowl, but also to get comfortable decked out in the tux and tie in Realm of Shadows, the first episode in their Telltale series. And this is a really interesting one because obviously Batman is an intellectual property that has been done to death recently, and this actually does have its very unique Telltale stamp on Gotham, which actually makes it stand out in its own unique way. And it's a fascinating lead-in with the Marvel game set to be made by Telltale next year because it makes you wonder how they're going to approach those as well. But what do we know about this Batverse? Well, Joe Chill, the man who killed Bruce Wayne's parents, is dead. Harvey Dent is running for mayor with Bruce Wayne backing him. Catwoman is a complete unknown, so Selina Kyle and Bruce have never met, and vice versa. Cops still do not trust Batman at this point, but Commissioner Gordon is a slight exception. He's kind of on the fence with him. Falcone is leading the city with his mob, and Bruce and Oswald Cobblepot were friends growing up. So yeah, there's lots of setup being done with characters we know play prominent roles in the Batverse, and it's going to be very interesting to see who comes into episode 2 and how the relationships you've developed in episode 1 then progress into episode 2 and throughout the season, how those relationships between Batman and these characters develop, and likewise Bruce Wayne and these characters. What works really well is detective mode, as you kind of pick up strands of evidence from scenes of a crime and then you try to link them together to depict what happened at a scene, and so you can progress the investigation further and know who to track and trace. And this is also grittier and edgier, arguably more than the Arkham series of games, because there's quite a lot of swearing and there's quite a lot of blood. Even Telltale even had the option to make this a bit darker and grislier still with the decision at the end, but they kind of veered off that slightly. But that's absolutely fine because the artwork really looks great, and it's mixed with the Nolan-themed Batman with a 90s animated TV series, and I think there's enough grit and darkness. It's sufficient enough in this case. You can still do some really dark things, having said that, and it does change the perception Gotham has of you depending on how you react in a situation, whether you choose to torture a thug or whether or not you just choose to beat them up. It's clear you can be the justice-serving Caped Crusader, or you can head down the path of the Dark Knight, however you choose. Now, I know some people have experienced technical issues on PC. I have to say I didn't experience a thing, except for some slowdown between the transition in scenes. That's the only issue I have had. And crowd play actually worked really well for me as well. It was an exciting, fascinating addition to Telltale games. And though the decisions in this episode don't really lend themselves that well as a great showcase to show what crowd play can do, the setup in this episode, and certainly going forward throughout the season, lends to some very exciting opportunities for your audience members to get involved and get interested in this series. Some dialogue is a little ham-fisted, but the development of Bruce is as compelling, if not more so, than being the Bat, which I think is the point in all this. And I know some people may think this is a Batman series, but it is definitely about as much about as Bruce Wayne as it is the Bat. Combat works quite well from a QTE perspective, as you constantly have to be quick with combos and defensive techniques. Overall, this just really surprised me. The story felt a little thin at times, and it did jolt around a lot to try and get in as much as possible, but hopefully the setup leads to some fascinating development early on, especially as far as Harvey, Alfred and Oz are concerned, and maybe even Selina. But for now, I would definitely recommend taking a look at this and watching this season as it goes forward. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Don't you know not to corner a wild